I reloaded my pencil and grabbed the better one out of my bag. So this one right here, 11x squared subtract 81 equals 0. This is the difference of two squares. So the only thing subtract 81 that's going to equal 0 would be 81, but since it's squared, we'd take the square root of 81, which would give us 9. But if we square a negative, it's also positive, so it's 9 and negative 9. But if we factor this, it's going to be subtract 9 times x plus 9 equals 0, so x equals 9 and x equals negative 9. 13x squared subtract 9x equals 0. So on this one, when we factor it, because we're following the same rules from 10, let me rewrite it. 13x squared subtract 9x equals 0. So the only thing we can factor out of both of these is x. So I'd have 13x subtract 9 equals 0. If I distribute it, it'd get me back to here. So then, just like our other ones, we're going to set it equal to 0. I'd have x equals 0 and 13x subtract 9 equals 0. So one of my answers is 0. This one don't have a 0. Okay, I'm going to add my 9 over. So 13x equals a positive 9 divided by 13. So x equals 9 over 13 and 0. So positive 9 over 13. And when y'all take the test, please write on it. Okay, solve the inequality, express your answer using interval notation. It's a less than, and it doesn't have an equal sign, so it can't have a bracket, because brackets mean equal to. And then it's a less than sign, so we're torn between these two. So we have x plus 4 is less than 5. So when we solve this, we'd subtract 4. So we'd have x is less than 1. This one's 9. This one's 1. A is our answer. This one's one of those trick ones. Absolute value of x is less than negative 7. Absolute values are always positive. Cannot be less than a negative. No solution. Okay, 15. Negative 12, and I'm going to write over here. Negative 12 is less than or equal to negative 2x subtract 2, which is less than or equal to negative 8. All the brackets, so brackets mean equal to, so these two aren't options because they have parentheses. All right, here. And then we're going to solve this. So since it's a compound one, whatever we take out of the middle, we have to put on the left and right side. So negative 12 plus 2 would give us a negative 10. Now we have negative 2x less than or equal to negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. Now when we divide by this negative 2, all of our signs are going to change. So negative 10 divided by a negative 2 would give us a positive 5. We're going to change our sign. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1, so we just have x on the inside. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 would be a positive 3. Now when we write this correctly, we'd have 3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 5. You can still look at this one and say x is between 5 and 3, but they're not negative 5 and 3. So you should still get that one if you don't change it around. All right, here's another compound inequality. So we have 6 is less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 12. Right now, looking at this, I know I'm going to have a parenthesis on this side and a bracket on this side. So it's not this one or this one. And then we'll solve it. So we need to divide by 2 to get x alone in the middle. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So we're going to go from 3 to 6. There's no negatives, so it's not that one. Okay, so this one, the absolute value is greater than 9. Absolute values are going to split this into 2 separate ones if it's greater than. So it's going to be one of these that have an or. It's not that one. This one's assuming they're both the same, and you're not going to have a negative 4/7 and a positive 4/7 in this one. Anyway, so we have, I'm going to do the negative one first. 5 subtract 7x is less than negative 9, or 5 subtract 7x is greater than 9. So we're going to subtract 5 first. So we have negative 7x is less than negative 14. When we divide by our negative 7, we get x is greater than 2. So both of these have 2 to infinity, honestly, now that I look at it. This is the only one that can be an answer because you're not going to have both of these with the same sign. They're not overlapping, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. So we'd have negative 7x is greater than 4. When we divide by a negative 7, it's going to change that to a less than. So x is less than negative 4/7, which means it has to start at negative infinity, not infinity. Okay. It's greater than 7x plus 3. I'm going to move my 7x first to the 8x because I always like my x's over here. 8x subtract 7x is x subtract 3 greater than 3. When I add my 3, x is greater than 6. And it's going to be a parenthesis. So it's not this one or this one. This one starts at 0. Absolute values are always positive. Which means they're always greater than a negative, which means it's all real numbers. If you have an absolute value with a negative, it's either going to be no solution or all real numbers. So if x squared plus 7x plus 2 equals 0. So they want us to use the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared subtract 4ac all over 2a. So our a in this one would be 1, b would be 7, and c would be 2. So when we go to plug these in, we'd have a negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 7 squared, subtract 4 times a times c over 2 times a. And then we'd work that out and simplify it. So you have a negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 49, subtract 8 all over 2. Negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 41 all over 2. And then if we go to check our answers, this one has the square root of 57. That's not it. C has it over 14. That's not it. And then we have a negative out front where that's what's missing on B.
I gotta go upstairs real fast. If somebody's looking for me for maybe 10, 15 minutes.
Oh,